Hi folks, thanks for joining us on this video. If you're new here, I'm Willie.
And I'm Sarah.
We're a musician and artist, and at the end of last year we moved to a nearly 200-year-old cottage on the Isle of Skye in the Scottish Highlands with our dog, Jack Spaniels.
This week we are doing my favourite activity, exploring an ancient castle.
Legend has it that it's the most haunted location on the Isle of Skye.
Step back in time with us as we explore the dramatic ruins on the rugged north coast of the island.
Plus, I'm determined to tick another job off from the ever-growing list of Landrover Defender repairs and upgrades.
And I make another eco-friendly change in the kitchen.
Join us as we continue. Living the Skye life.
It is a beautiful morning on Skye. The sun has not quite reached Skye-Life Glen yet, but we're heading out before the sun reaches us. And going on an adventure.
Yes, we are. We're going to see a castle, which is supposed to be the most haunted castle on all of Skye.
It's got a really sad kind of bloody history, so there's not much left of the castle, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be quite atmospheric. We're heading out because we're picking up Willie's old car from the garage where it's been getting its MOT.
Yep.
We took it on Monday and thought we'll just take it in, it'll get through. That's the annual test that you have to do for your car to make sure it's safe, and it failed.
£400 later, luckily we're selling it though, so we'll probably get that back, I hope, and the rest. Let's see.
I read about this castle originally in a book that Willie got me for my birthday, which is all about the myths and legends of Skye, and it's really interesting, and I've got it with me today so I can read up and make sure I'm getting all my facts right. We're going to go check it out. It's going to be a lovely day, and hopefully get your car
and
ready to sell.
Castles though.
Castle's much better.
Castle expert here.
Not an expert, just a
enthusiast. Oh dear. Here we have a familiar problem. This is the bull that we have dubbed Jock, who is standing in the gate because he wants to go out and see
his
lady friends. I don't know what we're going to do. Any ideas? Give up? Go home? Come on, Jock.
Come on.
I'll go and try and marshal him down there. This might end in disaster. Willie takes on the bull. I wanted to get on the other side of that gate before any more of my as yet unhatched plan materialised.
Come on, Jock, we've got places to be. Yes, Jock, off you go! Oh, he's right behind me. He is right behind me. Hey! Well done.
That's going to be interesting when we come back. At least I know what to do now. If you stand up on the gate and make yourself look big.
Big and loud.
Yeah, with Neil and I.
Hey!
We're not shouting. Grab a string. Right, shall we go about our business now?
Yes.
Here we go.
Well, we've stopped in Uig, which is just over halfway, I think. True to form, I've got some post to drop off, and it's a bit weird because this literally could have been our local shop and post office if we'd got that first house that we put an offer in.
Absolutely. I don't know if you can hear Jack's teeth chattering. It's not because he's cold. It's not that cold in this car. It's because he's so excited because he knows where we are. There's a walk here just behind us, and he's been there, and Jack remembers everything. So he can remember the walk, and he's desperate to get out for a walk, but he's not going for a walk yet.
No, not yet. Soon. So I'm going to take that postage in, and hopefully they'll be a little bit more accommodating than the guy at Drumnadrochit. I'm sure they will be, and then we'll get on our way. Well, he was very nice in there and very accommodating.
I'm sure.
And he was very impressed that I got all my sizes and weights right for my parcels. The best snacks available in that shop. You've got some too. This is the best flavour of Monster Munch. Everywhere always sells the pickled onion and the roast beef. Both those flavours are vile.
No, the roast beef are nice. Pickled onion.
Pickled onion, really not. They're supposed to be a classic British snack, but no, this is the way to go. Those hills there on the horizon are part of the Isle of Harris, I think. And on the other side of them is probably one of the most famous beaches in Scotland.
Luscantire.
It is absolutely stunning. I've only seen it when it was raining, so I haven't seen it in its full glory, but definitely someday soon we want to take a trip out to the Outer Hebrides and go visit it. Maybe in Yolanda.
Yolanda for sure.
We were just saying how all the different parts of Skye have such different sort of landscapes. So this area here, we're saying, reminds us a lot of Orkney, because it's quite open and flat, but it's still quite rugged. Lots of little houses dotted everywhere. Whereas where we are, there's lots of mountains and hills. And then the other side of Purging in the Trottenish Peninsula is really just like huge cliffs and massive stone formations. So it's really cool.
Yep, this is an amazing place. There's lots of variety in a very small area. Look at this in front.
Okay, we've arrived. We're here at Duntulm Castle and Viewpoint, and I can understand why there's a viewpoint and why they built a castle here, because it is beautiful.
Stunning.
Really calm seas, so I'm going to be keeping an eye out for all those pods of dolphins and orca that are definitely going to appear. Definitely, maybe.
Have a look.
Yeah, let's head off and have a look. I love that clear blue sky and the blue seas you get in the winter months. So cold and crisp and beautiful. I see it! I see a castle!
Okay, the next project for the Land Rover is the new bumper. I ordered a galvanised steel one. Now the reason for that is I don't want it to corrode. I want it to last a lot longer than it would do if it was just mild steel. The trouble with that is that I've got to use specialist primer, which is this stuff here. It's Hammerite Special Metals Primer. Just needs one coat of this stuff and then I can put the normal paint on, which hasn't been delivered yet. I'm just waiting for it. Anyway, so we can put this one coat on one side, then I'll need to turn it over and do the other side as well. Let's get the first side done. Okay, it's the next morning and this is now dry, so I'm going to turn it over and paint it again. But unexpectedly, it's actually a really nice day and it's not meant to rain today, so I'm going to do it outside, I think. I hope I don't regret that. Well, the weather report says it's not going to rain, but that cloud says differently. I'm going to go back to plan A and do it inside the shed. Hear that? That's the sound of rain pitter-pattering on the roof of the shed. So I'm glad I didn't opt to paint it out there. Yes, Jack. Right, that's it primed now on both sides. Every little nook and cranny I could get into as well. So I would just have to wait for the spray paint to get here as on order, but I'm hoping to get it tomorrow, we'll see. But yeah, I'm pleased to get that done. So happy days, on to the next step. And of course, it's really, really sunny now. Just after I finish painting, glorious sunshine. Okay, it's time to start painting this. Now it's quite late in the day, so I'll only probably get one coat on it, but I don't mind. Just going to get one done today and just keep chipping away at it. It takes 4 coats on the inside and out, so I'm going to do 4 coats on the outside first, turn over and do 4 coats on the inside too. Let's get going. Let's put the first coat on. Right, it's the next day, and I did 3 coats yesterday. That's had a chance to cure. So now I'm going to go and paint the inside of it. Hopefully I'll get 3 coats done today as well. Jack, should we paint the inside? Let's paint the inside. As you can see, I've taken it in the shed because I'm just worried it's going to rain, because it just does that on Skye. Even though the weather report says it's not going to, as I've said a few times, it's just a work of fiction. You never know what's going to happen here.
One thing that's been really bugging me about storage in our kitchen is that anything that is powdery and not completely airtight gets really damp. I don't know if it's the fact that it's slightly damp after it's been raining and we haven't had the heating on enough, but we've noticed it a lot with our herbs and spices, and I feel like we're not storing them right. So I've been on a mission to rectify this and change the storage. We keep all of our herbs and spices and stock cubes and condiments and things like that in this cupboard here, and I think one of the things is when moisture comes up from when we're cooking, it gets into that cupboard, so I'm going to move them out of there. I think I'm going to move them into a drawer, but I also want to change the containers. I've been googling lots of ways of storing them, and you can buy lots of really fancy looking matching sets. I don't really like buying a lot of new stuff if there might be something in your house that works just as well. And it occurred to me that we have loads of these little goo dessert pots. They come with a foil lid, which obviously goes in the recycling and you can't reuse it. But these, I feel like every household has about 1 million of these because they're really useful looking, but how many tiny little ramekins do you actually need? So I googled goo pot lids, and guess what? You can get them. Look at these! So they're made from bamboo, and they've obviously got a plastic seal which keeps them airtight. Oh my gosh, that is so satisfying. Yes! Hello, Jack. Hello. Do you approve? There's nothing for you in there, I'm sorry. I think that's a perfect size for herbs and spices. You don't need too much or else it's just going to spoil or go off before you use them. And what I'm also thinking is I can stop buying those ones from the supermarket with the plastic lids and take these to the refill shop in Broadford. So it's going to be less waste, and I think these will fit really nicely in the drawer. So let's do it. Also in Broadford, I have been in the charity shop and I found these. Basically match those. So I thought these might be good for keeping our stock cubes in. Oh yeah, and the best thing is, I get to use this label maker, which I've had for absolutely years. So if I can remember how to use it, I can make some labels! This is the geekiest thing I might have ever done. As you can see, we have quite a lot of stuff in our condiment cupboard. Lots of herbs and spices, lots of stock cubes. We do like cooking, especially Willie, so it's nice to have these, but I think a lot of them are probably out of date, so I'm going to do a full check and chuck out the ones we don't want and transfer the ones we do into the airtight containers. What we're keeping, and this was all of questionable vintage, especially that mustard powder. Oh my gosh, that's pretty terrible. We haven't actually used that mustard powder, it's just been there in the back of the cupboard for who knows how long. I'm so ashamed as well, because obviously some of this stuff has survived the move and we didn't pick up on it. The worst date it went back was 2019, that's 4 years out of date. Yeah, gonna get rid of that. Gonna keep the stuff that is still in date, put it in those sterilised pots, and I'm gonna write the best before date on the underneath of the pot just so that we know. Maybe it just makes me a geek, but there was something very satisfying about doing those labels. My dad used to have one of those label makers when I was a kid, and I loved it. I used to love playing with it. He probably didn't, because I was just wasting lots of labels. But yeah, that takes me right back to being a kid. spices and the stock cubes and stuff are in this drawer now, and they're all vaguely organised. If you're looking for one of those really pristine organisation videos, this is not it, but it's in a bit more order than it was before and nothing that went out of date in 2019. The only thing I need to figure out now is what's happening with those pan lids, because they now no longer have a home. But it's fine, it's a good job, that's enough for now.
Wee confession here, I hadn't fitted the windshield on my microphone correctly for this section, so I decided to drop in with a voiceover instead. What I was saying is Richard and I had tried to remove one of the bolts the day before, but the badly corroded bolt had snapped. He kindly left me his extension bar and socket set to get the remaining bolts out. But, well, let's see what happens, eh? Here goes, let's try and get this one out. Now I don't know if that thread is coming out or if it's just twisting the bolt ready to break. Well, we'll find out in a minute. Yep, it broke. That's not ideal. Let's try this one now. I'm doing this as gently as I possibly can. It's only so gentle you can do it with a wrench. Yep. So 3 of them broke. That one's even worse. That's 3 bolts broke. But I have another idea how to get this off now. So because these broke, I'm hoping that this now moves. I think it's gonna. So I can now bend this back down. Because it's so corroded and rotten, which is why I'm replacing it, I should be able to hit the bolts out. I hope. We'll see. Brute force and ignorance, as my friend Ian would say. I'm actually moving the car. I think what I need is a Fife persuasion implement. Fife persuasion implement. See why I'm replacing it? So the bolts, you can't get to them. They're inside there. So it's going to be very difficult to get them off. Well, that's one off. This is the problem here. You can see these bolts have just snapped. This plate was what was holding it under here. The bolts go through here. I've got new stainless steel ones, by the way, so this won't happen again. Through here, through there, out there, and then there's a plate underneath that holds the whole thing together. So I've got that out. Let's see if I can get the other side out. I need to clean this up as well. Look at the state of this. Anyway. Aha. That looked good. I think the bolt and the plate just fell down. Hey! That took longer than I wanted it to. Oh, hello, Jack. This all needs cleaning. All the outside needs cleaning. I'll get the angle grinder out with the wire brush then on it and clean this up, and then it just needs some paint. And then I can get the new bumper on, which is great news. It looks a lot better than I expected it to, so I'm happy. That's the offending plate that took so long to get out. So that's done now, so the bumper's off. Happy days. That is a result. It's really getting dark now, so I'm really pleased to have got that on. The coat of paint will cure overnight, and it's not to rain until about 10 o'clock in the morning, which means there's plenty of time for that paint to set. So I got the bumper off, I got it all cleaned up, I got the rust treatment on, and finally I got one coat of paint on which will protect it from the elements. I will be putting more on, but not tonight. Right now, I'm going inside because it's cold. This is a request sign, it's not an order. If it's an order, we never do. But it says you're requested, and the gate isn't padlocked, it's open. So we decided to go in and just have a look around and not get too close to the masonry.
Duntulm first appears in legend as an ancient Pictish fort, said to have been seized by Viking invaders in the Norse invasion of Skye. The castle that we see today was built in the 14th and 15th centuries. during a time of bitter feuds between the rival clans of MacLeod and MacDonald. The castle overlooks Tulm Island and further out the island of Fladachuan, thought in olden times to be a sacred spot, perhaps even the Isle of Perpetual Youth.
I wonder how many people have stood at this window looking over to Lewis and Harris, which is the islands over there. That would have been their view back then. Beautiful.
The castle was abandoned around 1732. Much of the castle's stone was taken for building material, contributing to the process of ruination that we see today.
I've found what looks like a little dungeon, and Jack wants to go down there, but I'm not letting him. And there's no way I'm going down there, I wouldn't fit. It's covered in grass and it's got this little arch and things. It's really, really cool, but it's also really small. Exploring with Jack. I think that big chunk there is actually a piece of the castle that's come off in a storm. There's this bit here that you can sort of go into, although I definitely wouldn't recommend it, and I'm not going to. But you can see it's like a dungeon in there with a window, but there's no chance I'm going in there. That ceiling doesn't look particularly safe. Look at the cracks. So if that was to come in, I'm a goner instantly. So, or worse, over a long period of time. So I ain't going in there.
Wow, it's stunning today.
Gorgeous.
So beautiful. And it's crazy because the dark history of the castle really doesn't come across on a day like today.
No, it's just lovely and peaceful.
It's so bright and sunny, but there's so many ghost stories about this castle. The cousin of the lad who locked him up in the dungeon and fed him salt beef and salt fish and no water until he died a horrible death, went mad and died of thirst. So he's supposed to haunt this castle. There's supposed to be one of the lairds and two of his friends who have a ghostly party together. And it gradually gets more raucous and violent as the night goes on. And there's a really sad one actually, which is apparently the laird's baby son was dropped by a nursemaid from the walls of the castle onto the rocks below. So apparently the infant crying and also the nursemaid, who did not get lightly off of that charge, her wails are supposed to haunt the castle as well. None of which we've experienced today.
No, it's just lovely and peaceful.
Maybe we'll have to come back at night time and see.
No, you're all right. I'll probably fall through that
Maybe
dungeon.
not. Perhaps the most interesting event in the history of the castle was the marriage of chieftain Donald Gorm Moore to Margaret MacLeod of Dunvegan. Supposedly Margaret's new husband took a dislike to her because she had lost an eye. After a year, he sent her back to her family in shame, mounted on a one-eyed horse, accompanied by a one-eyed man, and followed by a one-eyed dog. This insult supposedly resulted in a fresh outbreak of clan fighting, and Margaret's weeping was added to the clamour of the ghosts of Duntulm.
You may be able to make out that tiny speck down there at the end of the headland is Sarah taking pictures of the castle. Jack doesn't like it when his mummy goes away without him, especially when there's water as well. But unfortunately for Jack, the other things that are down there on that headland are sheep. And he's trained not to go near sheep, and he's really good at it as well. He just freezes until he goes on his lead. He stops until you put him on his lead, which is brilliant. But the local farmer doesn't know that, and I don't want to upset anyone, so he stays with me on his lead. She'll be back soon, Pops, don't worry. Bless him. Here she comes. Told you she was coming back. And that makes him very happy. I'm coming, Pops. She knows. This is the Mum is coming back wag. You see this a lot on Skye. The farmers obviously use this old Belfast sink as a water trough for the animals. I don't know if it was damaged in the first place or they just put it in. And back in the day when these were old hat and they got new ones in, they would have just thought, oh, that's rubbish, chuck it away. And now they're worth about £300 each.
So the castle's literally about 4 or 5 minutes walk over there. And this is where you park up. Like a lot of places in the Highlands and on Skye, the parking is not huge and it's not in the best condition. If you come here in the high season, it could definitely be full up very quickly, so we're always just really careful where we park. If you come somewhere and the parking is full, don't try and park on the verge, don't try and park in front of people's gates, because yeah, that's not cool. Fortunately today it's pretty quiet.
Apart from this ruffian.
Yeah. Got all sorts here.
It's the next morning and that paint has now cured and I've just applied a second coat. Now I was expecting it to rain this morning, which it hasn't so far, which I'm really glad about. I've got another coat on there and I'm going to do another coat and then I'll start putting the bumper on hopefully later this afternoon once the paint's had a chance to cure, if it's cured enough. It did drop to about 6 degrees last night, which is a bit risky because it's not meant to go below 5 degrees. But let's have a look at what I've done here. So that's where we are now. There's the other one. So yeah, they look so much better. The rust under there, that's for a later process. It's just surface rust. It just needs a bit of brushing off, and that's going to get coated with Lanagard, which is a different product, but we'll come to that later. But yeah, these are looking really good. Chuffed with that. After another coat, that will be ready to receive the new bumper. Really pleased. These are the old fixings. They all got completely corroded away. That's meant to be parallel all the way down, and that's gone right in there into like a conical shape, and then snapped when I tried to twist it. So yeah, that's the state of the old ones. These are the new ones, brand new stainless steel. Because it's stainless steel, of course it won't do that again. It won't wear away down here and that'll be much better. And then these are painted, these are the little plates, and then these caps go in the top of the bolts as well. And you can see the dramatic difference between the old and the new. Also, I've started to upgrade my tools. It's great that Richard's lending me tools to do it, but I do need to get my own ones. So thanks to our Ko-fi supporters and our patrons, here is a new socket set that I just bought. Look at this, it's a Draper half socket set, which is perfect for the car. And as I said, that is down to our patrons and down to our Ko-fi supporters. Seriously, can't thank you enough. It's so good to be able to buy some decent tools to use on the Landy. Right, that's 3 coats in. Now we just need to wait, let that cure, come back much later today and put that new bumper on. And if that forecast rain does come, well, I've got a solution. And that is my solution. And if you look underneath this umbrella, everything under there is going to be fine, even if it rains. Cool. Right, that's the paint dry and it's time to put the bumper on. So let's do that. Well, I'm really chuffed with the bumper, but you might have seen in that time lapse I accidentally dropped it when I was fitting it. I was actually putting it on the wrong way up, I think, in all honesty. So yeah, my mistake. But like I've said in these videos before, if I make a mistake, it goes in. I put everything in. It's not so much fun to see when everyone does everything smoothly, and you know, I think it's quite disingenuous as well. Whereas I made a mistake here, I'm going to own that and I'm going to fix it. So I'm going to get a little bit of sandpaper and just take away the edges of the scuffs so they're not too noticeable, and then I'll do a little bit of spray painting to cover it up. I'll do a couple of coats like that, maybe 2 or 3, and it should just be fine like that. Overall though, happy apart from a little mistake. Such is life. So there you have it, a brand new bumper for the Landy. Really chuffed with that, in spite of a couple of errors. But I'll just show you the comparison of the 2 different bumpers. Obviously the one below is the one that's from before, which is really damaged and rusty and just a mess. It's actually full of holes as well. And the one at the top is the brand new one, that's galvanised, and it's got 4 coats of paint on it, so it should last a very long time. I'm really happy with that job. Another thing on the Land Rover done, and I'm sure there'll be more things to do, but at least that's done now. What's your thoughts?
I don't know, it's pretty good.
Yeah?
Looks awesome. Yeah, looks much better.
Happy? Mm-hmm. Worth all that banging and crashing and painting and stuff?
Yes.
Such an improvement on this. Jack! Where's your stick? Oh, hello. Close up. Using my new tools from our patrons and our Ko-fi supporters. Yay! Thanks, folks. And just as I finished there, it just started spitting rain again. So I've got my rain cover on. That's Skye for you.
As always folks, thank you so much for watching our video. We really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please do leave us a like, a comment, or subscribe to our channel if you don't already. It's free to do and it really helps us out. If you did enjoy the video and you want to support this channel further, you can do so over on Ko-fi, where you can buy us a cup of coffee, or tea in a coffee cup, a little biscuit for Jack, or just help towards the general running costs of this channel.
If you wish to support the channel further, you can do so on Patreon, where you can help us every month, which is amazing and really helps the channel. A massive thanks to all our patrons and Ko-fi supporters. Without you guys, we couldn't do this, literally.
As usual, all the links to these pages are in the video description
below. Don't spill your tea.
Point.
We should probably put these down for this.
Oh.
I don't even know what I'm going to do yet.
Oh no.
Right.
Okay.
Thanks again, and we will see you ba-ba-la-la-la, next week. I don't know why I went all sort of operatic there. We're leaving our suburban life, moving over the sea to Skye. Are we chasing a dream? I guess in time we will see, when we're living the Skye life. Living the Skye life. Is my eyebrows okay?
No, they're awful.
Thank you. Gosh. Okay.
You right? You good? But there's also lots of what's the word?
Sore arms?
Yeah.
We don't even know if his real name's Jock.
We've just called him that because he's a jockass.
Ah, nice.
Oh, he's gonna do a poo! This is the Skye life for you.
If you want to support us, if you want to support us more regularly, you can. If you want to support the channel more regularly, you can. Blah, 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 blah. Can't speak. This is going to be a problem moving forward.
It is an issue, yeah.
Why is that sheep running so fast?
I don't know. There's a
It was sprint. I think that's the fastest
sprinting
sheep I've ever
sheep.
seen. I see a shadow. Hi, me.
I have displaced those pan lids that were in there. I didn't close that. I don't know what happened.
The coat of paint will cure the coat. Click here to subscribe to live in the Skye life.
Click here to go back to the start of our adventures with our very first episode.